Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Plant Pathology Pathshala. So in this video we will discuss about Ascochyta Blight of Chickpea. So this is a very important disease of chickpea. The causal organism is Ascochyta Rabiei. This is the anamorph stage or asexual stage. The sexual stage is Didymela Rabiei. It's a Ascomycetes fungi. Okay, taxonomic about the taxonomy and about the fungus we will discuss in the later slides. Then it's a seed-borne and residue-borne fungal disease. Very important. It's a seed-borne and residue-borne fungal disease. It is one of the most destructive disease of chickpea. Then severe epidemic may cause high yield loss, particularly under cool and wet condition. So the disease for the development of disease, particularly cool and wet or humid condition is needed. Major Indian region where this epidemic or this higher infestation of Ascochyta blight was observed is the northwestern plain, because in this region generally cool humid climate is there, which is helpful for development of epidemic. Important states like Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, this Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, Bihar, these are the major Ascochyta blight hotspot regions. Okay. Next, about the symptoms. So the Ascochyta blight of chickpea, this pathogen affect all the aerial part of the plants, starting from the leaves, stem, petiole, pods and seed. So first, in the seed, initially water soaked lesions will be developed that later become necrotic, and the most characteristic things that we observed on leaf lesions is the concentric rings of dark Pycnidia. Like we have also discussed this concentric rings of dark Pycnidia in Phomopsis blight of brinjal. In my last video I have described about the very important disease of brinjal, that is Phomopsis blight caused by Phomopsis vexan. That also produce the concentric rings of dark Pycnidia, black sporulation in concentric pattern. Here you can clearly see the concentric rings of Pycnidia. Pycnidia is nothing but the asexual fruiting body that produce the conidia. Okay. So this is the characteristic symptom produced on leaf. Then on stem, it produce elongated to elliptical lesions, brown lesions will be developed that later enlarge and girdle the stem. So this stem become weakened and ultimately the above portion will wilt or die. Then about the pod, similar to the leaf lesions, in the pod also oval to brown lesions are formed and concentric rings of Pycnidia, the black Pycnidia in concentric manner, are clearly seen. And the most important thing about the seed infection, here the Ascochyta blight is both externally as well as internally seed-borne disease. This is the very important. Remember this. The Ascochyta blight is both internally as well as externally seed-borne disease. So the pathogen may reside either on the seed coat or also present in the embryo region. This seed infection leads to poor seed development as well as shriveled seed. Okay. So the diagnostic field symptom is brown lesions bearing concentric rings of black or dark Pycnidia. Remember this point. Okay. And about the seed infection, the Ascochyta blight is both externally as well as internally seed-borne disease. Next, about the pathogen, I have already discussed. The asexual stage is the Ascochyta Rabiei, whereas the sexual stage is the Didymela Rabiei. The asexual stage produce the conidia by producing the Pycnidia. Whereas in the sexual stage, this Didymela rabiei, it produce pseudothecia. The pseudothecia is the sexual fruiting body inside which ascospores are produced. These are two-celled ascospore. Okay, inside each SI, 8 ascospores are there. Here you can see the Pycnidia, the asexual fruiting body that is produced by Ascochyta rabiei. The conidia here, it is also two-celled, one-celled, oval to oblong, mostly one-celled, hyaline conidia. Then about the disease cycle. So the primary source of infection is the infected seed and crop residue. So both the conidia or the pycnidium as well as the ascospore or the pseudothecium, both present on this crop debris as well as the seed, and they act as primary source of inoculum. This is very important point. Okay, so primary source of inoculum for Ascochyta blight of chickpea is infected seed and infected crop debris or crop residue or the stubbles. Next, when it get the favorable environmental condition, so by wind or by rain splash, it will finally when it get it host the seedling or young chickpea plant, it started infection. So after the primary infection, the lesions will develop on the leaves, stem, pod. So characteristic symptom we will get, that is the brownish lesions with concentric rings of dark or brown, the black Pycnidia. Okay, this Pycnidia, this act as the conidia produced inside the Pycnidia, this act as source of secondary infection. So source of secondary infection is conidia, and the agent that is helpful for the secondary spread is the rain splash. Okay, that's why when higher rainfall is there, this severe epidemic of chickpea Ascochyta blight was mostly observed. So rain help in dispersal or the secondary spread. But sometimes the ascospore produced inside the pseudothecia also act as the secondary mode of infection in case of long distance spread. Okay, so mode of dissemination is mainly by conidia, and the agent is rain splash, that is for the short distance, and in case of ascospore, the agent is air or wind, it is for the long distance dispersal. Next, about the epidemiology. So this disease I have already discussed, it is favored by cool and humid climate. So the temperature favorable for the disease is 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. It require high humidity. Then frequent rainfall favor the disease, because due to the frequent rainfall or rain splashes, secondary spread will occur. Then prolonged leaf wetness is needed. Then dense crop canopy, because if dense crop canopy will be there, then high humidity will be there definitely. Then particularly severe during flowering and pod formation stage. This is very important. So this infestation of Ascochyta blight is most severely found in particular plant stage, that is the flowering and pod formation stage. Then in India, few hotspot regions are there where natural screening of Ascochyta blight was done. They are Dhalukan Valley of the Himachal Pradesh, then Ludhiana, Punjab, then Gurdaspur, Punjab, and Hisar, Haryana. Remember this natural screening of hotspot regions. Then in Indian status, so this disease was first reported from Punjab from province 1911. This is from the British India. Okay. Then historically, disease was important in northwestern plain because of the climatic condition. Then severe means this pathogen population exhibit morphological as well as pathogenic variability, mostly occur in Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, the northwestern part. Okay, and it is reported in lower density in Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, West Bengal. Then why the Ascochyta blight is dangerous? Simple important points why this disease is very dangerous. First, most important one is because of the internal as well as external seed-borne nature. As the seed only carry the pathogen, it is very difficult to manage. Okay, then it's long-term survival where inside the crop residue, so it is very difficult to manage. Next, the production of abundant number of conidia inside the Pycnidia, that is very helpful for the pathogen to spread rapidly for the secondary spread. Okay, then rains plus dispersal. So these are the conditions which making the Ascochyta blight more dangerous. Finally, the management practices. So the best management practice for the Ascochyta blight is use of host resistance, growing of resistant or tolerant varieties. Example of resistant source are ICC 76, ICC 3996, ICC 15978. See, whenever you are thinking about the management practices, first remember the where this inoculum comes from. For the Ascochyta blight, the inoculum is infected seed and the crop residue. So we have to check the primary inoculum first. How we will check? Either we can just stop the infection by using the resistant variety, or for the management of infected seed we can use healthy seed or certified disease free seeds, or if seed is containing some amount of inoculum, we can do the seed treatment like hot water treatment, mostly for the this internally seed-borne disease like phomopsis blight. Also we are doing the hot water treatment 50 degrees Celsius 30 minutes. Okay, then for the management of crop residue we can do the cultural practices like crop rotation, remove and destroy the infected residue, then avoid volunteer chickpea plant, adjust sowing time to escape cool, humid and the wet weather. Then if all these practices fail, then final ultimate management practice we can adopt is the use of fungicides. So we can do the foliar treatment of broad spectrum fungicide like mancozeb, sulfur dust. These are can be used. Okay, so this is in brief about the Ascochyta blight. Then some one line points. Let's revise about this disease. First, the causal organism Ascochyta rabiei. This is the asexual stage that produces the conidia or Pycnidia. Then telomorph is the Didymella rabiei, that is produce the pseudothecia, where two cell ascospores are produced. The most characteristic symptom is brown lesion with concentric rings of Pycnidia. Secondary inoculum conidia, dissemination of conidia through rain splash, sexual fruiting body pseudothecia, inside pseudothecium SI containing the ascospore. Favorable weather is cool, wet and humid condition. Major reason where this disease develop is for India is northwestern plain. Then major management strategy is use of resistant cultivar, use of healthy disease free seed, residue management and timely fungicide application. So this is all about the Ascochyta blight of chickpea. So if you have further doubt about this disease, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video.